because I risk my neck putting it out there. I don't want to risk my neck putting it out there. Anyway, so I basically proposed this session because I was very selfish. I have been an independent Agile coach for the last 5 years, and I started an Agile practice for a specific company, which is Stockport. And I want to expand this practice. And I'm one of the coaches in this practice, and I want to be in a practice that I really want to be in. And I know there's a lot of coaches out there that want to be part of something bigger as well. And there's a couple of reasons for it. I mean, we can learn from other coaches. We have different skills that we can leverage. We can grow other coaches as well if we work together with a couple of people. So we were looking at the benefits, being part of something bigger, not necessarily as an employee, but being part of something bigger. And we're looking at the benefits of being independent. And one of those things is building your personal brand, for instance, right? So that's one of the things that is really valuable for some coaches, including mine. So looking at all of these things, I got an input from the people in the session, and noticed basically that there were already a couple of models out there that try to combine the benefits from those two different things. And so that's what I'm determined to do. I want to build an Agile practice, and I invite you all to talk to me what it really will look like and help and shape me doing it. That's it.
And also, it's really cool in an Agile environment. You have like hair reporting back. It's like automatic for you folks. It's great. Go.
So the question was, what is Agile testing? And despite my age-activated ADD, we managed to get some pretty decent answers to the question. We started off by talking about people who self-identify as testers versus people who self-identify as programmers and how that's okay. So despite role boundaries being sometimes too crisp, people making up stories, this is not my job, as others have mentioned. It's useful to have people who are great at testing, and it's useful to have people who are great at programming on the same team, and for them to work together as closely as possible and as early as possible in the life cycle of a story.
So from that, we built off of the different things that happen in the workplace, and what makes a lot of side discussions, down some rabbit holes on testing. And only at the end, we kind of had to bring it all back together and say, what are the different things that we talked about? And these things clearly, like just-in-time testing, making sure you're testing at the right time and only testing the appropriate amount of stuff. We talked a lot about the size of the stories, talking about this ratio of 1 to 3, that your largest story should be 3 times your smallest story only, nothing bigger. Otherwise, you should break down that larger story. We talked about moving the testing farther upstream, hopefully getting yourself into a test-driven development environment that's even better.
We also talked about story testing, which is really the same thing as requirements, test-driven development, test cases to prove that we're building the right thing, and how that actually drives story size down, which makes velocity more meaningful. You get much less late cycle failure and iteration. So all of these things together, plus the awesome exploratory testing thing that you named yesterday, those are the beginnings of the definition of Agile testing.
And I think it's a journey as well, a destination. You have to keep working at it, keep improving it, keep changing the way you do it.
Okay, so we don't actually have anything right now because we went outside and played for now. So to show us some of the most we're going to do a little bit of the exercises that we did to kind of show you what you guys missed out on. And we are.
What did you guys see there? What are the Agile values? How can they be as useful to your teams?
Collaboration. You're all
time's up.
Yeah, that will.
Great job.
We're efficient.
It just seemed like 5 minutes.
The answer,
I have no idea.
Okay, supporting each other.
Where are we now? How to recruit junior people to dynamic development environment. Simon? Hi, Simon. So, I have a small company and I'm going to be growing it, so I'm worried about recruiting people, and I see this as a huge risk for any company. Making a bad recruitment choice is very expensive. And making good recruitment choices increase your team, increase your productivity, increase your culture, all good. So the things that came out of our discussion that were cool, new moments were trying to lengthen the process of acquisition and being clear with potential employees that that's what you're doing. And some of the ways of doing that is getting people to work with you for a week. Sort of the contrary thing is, well, how do I take time off my current job to go and work with you for a week? Well, you pay them. And yes, they might take vacation time or whatever, but isn't a week of sacrificing vacation time better than sacrificing your current job for something that isn't going to work out? Another thing that came up was making it easy to exit. So post-hire, having a separation bonus. You want to leave? Here's $5,000. Either side can take it at any time, but it's better that you have a way to get out. And sort of which came near the end, which was pretty cool, was early in any new job, you're not able to produce. Your managers can't really expect you to produce. So rather than putting results pressure on people early in their job in a new position, try and figure out ways to put cultural pressure onto people and see whether or not that works. See whether or not that breaks the system or whatever you want. And that left me with something to think about how to get at cultural pressure with new hires.